The unsettling upload, a glimpse into the abyss. Imagine for a moment a truth so chilling it twists the very fabric of human understanding. Picture this. A brutal, horrific crime has just shattered a family, leaving a father dead and a home in ashes. The air is thick with the weight of unspeakable tragedy. And in the midst of this devastation, just 3 days later, the alleged perpetrator's 2 teenagers, barely out of childhood, do something truly unfathomable. They don't call for help. They don't express remorse. They don't even hide in the shadows. Instead, they turn on a camera. Not for a desperate plea, not for a confession whispered in terror, but to record themselves, to create content. And as the camera rolls, a voice allegedly, that of 18-year-old Guerrero, cuts through the silence with a casual, almost breezy tone that will forever haunt the annals of true crime. He looks into the lens and with a shocking, almost flippant smirk, utters the words that sent shivers down the spines of seasoned investigators and continue to send ice through anyone who hears them. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. 3 days after we killed someone, the weight of those 2 words, delivered with such disarming nonchalance, is a punch to the gut. It defies logic. It shatters our perceptions of empathy. And it forces us to confront a darkness so profound, it's almost impossible to reconcile with the youthful faces delivering it. This isn't the panicked confession of a terrified killer. This isn't the chilling monologue of a calculating mastermind. This is something far more bizarre, far more unsettling. A seemingly mundane, almost casual acknowledgement of an act so heinous. It leaves you breathless. What kind of mind records such a statement? What motive could possibly drive a daughter, Sierra Halseth, and her boyfriend to allegedly commit such an unspeakable act against her own father, Daniel Halseth, and then seemingly document it for the world as if it were nothing more than a macabre vlog? This isn't just a murder case. This is a journey into the twisted psychology of alleged teenage killers. A stark examination of where the lines blur between reality and a horrifying digital performance. And the questions it leaves us with are as cold and unyielding as the alleged crime itself. This is the story of Daniel Halseth, and the chilling YouTube confession that marked his tragic end. Get ready, because this is one you won't easily forget. A father's last days, the timeline of a tragedy. The story of Daniel Halseth's final days is a mosaic of chilling precision and unfathomable callousness. It's a timeline that doesn't just mark the passage of time, but the chilling progression of a plan that allegedly culminated in murder. Daniel was a father, a man living his life, seemingly unaware of the dark storm brewing just beneath the surface of his own home. He was 45 years old, and by all accounts, navigating the complexities of family life, like so many parents do. But lurking in his shadows were 2 figures who would ultimately extinguish his light. His 16-year-old daughter, Sierra Halseth, and her 18-year-old boyfriend, Guerrero. While the specifics of Daniel's relationship with Sierra aren't fully detailed in public records, we can infer the typical parent-teen dynamics, perhaps amplified by the tumultuous nature of adolescent relationships. Sierra and Aaron were high school sweethearts, a connection that, to outsiders, might have seemed typical, but what transpired between them, allegedly leading to such a horrific act, remains a deeply disturbing question. The chilling preparations. A plan takes shape. The seeds of this tragedy were allegedly sown well before Daniel's death. According to the arrest warrant for Guerrero, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police accused the pair of being caught on surveillance footage, engaging in a series of highly unsettling purchases. This wasn't a spontaneous act of violence. The records suggest a cold, calculated preparation. Imagine the scene. 2 teenagers, blending into the background of a retail store, their shopping cart filled not with snacks or video games, but with items that would become tools of destruction. They were reportedly seen acquiring various tools, lighter fluid, and cleaning. Supplies. Let's unpack this. The tools. What exactly were they? While not specified, one can grimly infer items that could facilitate a violent act, or perhaps dismantle parts of a home. The very word tools implies a deliberate, methodical approach. It speaks to a mind that wasn't acting out of a sudden fit of rage, but rather methodically equipping themselves for a task. Then, there's the lighter fluid. This isn't an item typically found in a teenager's shopping basket. Its presence strongly suggests an intent to incinerate, to destroy. It's a horrifying foreshadowing of the arson that would later consume Daniel's home. This wasn't just about ending a life. It was allegedly about erasing the evidence, cleansing the scene in a blaze of destruction. The chilling premeditation this implies is truly unnerving. And finally, cleaning supplies. This detail is particularly chilling. It points to an alleged desire to leave no trace, to meticulously scrub away the horrifying aftermath of their actions. It hints at a cold detachment, a focus on the practicalities of concealing a crime rather than the emotional weight of what they were allegedly about to do. This alleged shopping trip wasn't just a transaction. It was a sinister overture to the violence that was to come, painting a picture of minds already immersed in a dark design. The unspeakable act, April's darkness. Sometime in April 2021, the alleged preparations culminated in the horrifying act. Prosecutors alleged that Guerrero and Sierra Halseth brutally stabbed Daniel Halseth to death. The details of the attack itself are, understandably, guarded in public records to protect the integrity of the legal process and out of respect for Daniel. However, the nature of a stabbing indicates a violent, up-close, and deeply personal act, suggesting a terrifying intimacy to the crime. But the alleged crime didn't end with Daniel's death. In a desperate and devastating attempt to cover their tracks, the pair allegedly set fire to Daniel's home. Arson is a desperate measure, often employed by criminals to destroy forensic evidence, to erase fingerprints, DNA, and any other clues that might link them to the scene. The fire would have also served as a destructive shield, turning a crime scene into a chaotic inferno, making the work of investigators infinitely more challenging. The destruction of a home, a place of safety and sanctuary, adds another layer of profound tragedy to this already horrific narrative. It speaks to a chilling disregard, not only for human life, but for the very memories and sense of security that a home represents. After the alleged murder and arson, the two teenagers vanished. The digital footprint, a confession captured. What came next is perhaps the most bizarre and profoundly disturbing detail of this entire case. Just 3 days after the alleged murder, while most people would be reeling from such an event, consumed by guilt or terror, Aaron and Sierra allegedly did something utterly incomprehensible. According to grand jury testimony, they recorded a video of themselves. This wasn't a desperate plea for help. This wasn't a confession born of remorse. This was, allegedly, a casual acknowledgement of their actions, delivered with a chilling detachment that beggars belief. Aaron Guerrero is quoted in that video with that now infamous line, "Welcome back to our YouTube channel. 3 days after we killed someone." Think about that for a moment. The sheer audacity, the apparent lack of empathy, the almost performative nature of the statement. It's a stark contrast to the gravity of their alleged actions. What was the purpose of this video? Was it a macabre trophy? A twisted form of bragging? A way to process their actions in a warped reality? Or was it simply a bizarre, misguided attempt to control a narrative that was spiraling out of their control? The exact content of the rest of the video remains largely under wraps, adding another layer of unsettling mystery to this already perplexing case. But that single quoted line offers a terrifying glimpse into the alleged mindset of these young individuals in the immediate aftermath of a brutal murder. The fugitives. A run across state lines. After the alleged murder, the arson, and the chilling self-recorded video, Aaron and Sierra went on the run. They fled Nevada, heading north to Utah. Their escape would have been a desperate, adrenaline-fueled journey. A stark contrast to their seemingly casual demeanor in the video. However, their flight was short-lived. Authorities worked swiftly, tracing their movements, and eventually, the pair was located and apprehended in Utah, while the precise details of their capture are not fully public. It signifies the relentless pursuit of justice by law enforcement. The hunt for them concluded, but the larger journey for justice for Daniel Halseth was just beginning. The legal battle begins. Not guilty pleas. With Aaron and Sierra in custody, the legal wheels began to turn. On Friday, June 25, 2021, both Aaron Guerrero and Sierra Halseth appeared virtually for their arraignment in Clark County District Court. This was their first formal appearance in court since their arrest, a pivotal moment in any criminal case, facing a total of 9 felony counts, including the most serious charge of murder in connection with Daniel Halseth's death. Both Aaron and Sierra entered not guilty pleas. A not guilty plea is a standard legal procedure. It doesn't necessarily indicate innocence, but rather places the burden on the prosecution to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It signifies the start of what would undoubtedly be a long and complex legal battle. The stakes were incredibly high for both sides. Following their pleas, a jury trial was scheduled for December 13th, setting the stage for a dramatic courtroom showdown where the prosecution would lay out its case and the defense would present its arguments. This timeline, from the alleged calculated purchases to the chilling video and the formal legal proceedings, paints a stark picture of a tragedy that unfolded with shocking precision and left behind a trail of devastation and lingering questions. The unanswered questions. Shadows in the story, we've laid out the devastating sequence of events that allegedly led to Daniel Halseth's death, the chilling preparation, the brutal act, the destructive fire, the unsettling video, and the cross-country flight. But even with these stark facts, the Daniel Halseth case isn't just a timeline of tragedy. It's a labyrinth of unanswered questions, a collection of chilling mysteries that gnaw at the very core of this disturbing narrative. These aren't minor details. They are critical, missing pieces that leave us grappling with the why and how of this profoundly unsettling crime. The void of motive. Why Daniel? Perhaps the most glaring, most agonizing void in this entire case is the complete lack of a publicly stated motive. The prosecution has laid out a powerful case regarding what allegedly happened. Daniel Halseth was stabbed. His home was set ablaze, and his daughter and her boyfriend are accused of the heinous acts. But the critical, soul-searching question of why remains shrouded in impenetrable darkness. We know Sierra is Daniel's daughter. This fact alone makes the alleged crime even more abhorrent, defying the fundamental human bond between parent and child. Was there a history of conflict, abuse, financial disputes, a forbidden relationship? The available information is silent on these crucial points. This isn't just a legal oversight. It's a profound psychological puzzle. When we strip away the usual suspects' greed, revenge, passion, what are we left with? A chilling possibility that defies conventional understanding. A seemingly senseless act, or one driven by a motive so personal, so deeply buried that it hasn't surfaced. The absence of a clear why allows our minds to wander into the most unsettling corners. Was it a rebellion taken to the darkest extreme? A manipulative act by one teen influencing the other? Or something even more disturbing, a cold, calculated decision unburdened by empathy? This silence, this profound lack of a discernible motive, is a chilling testament to the bewildering nature of the alleged crime itself. It forces us to confront the possibility that sometimes the human capacity for cruelty exists without a clear, easily digestible explanation. The full story of the YouTube confession. What else did they show? The single quoted line from that infamous video. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. 3 days after we killed someone is a powerful, gut-wrenching hook. It immediately paints a picture of a chilling detachment, but it's also just a fragment. What else was on that video? What was the full content, and what was its true purpose? Was it a longer monologue, detailing their alleged actions, or boasting about their escape? Were there other individuals present or mentioned? Did it capture any moments of remorse, fear, or vulnerability? Or was it consistently delivered with that same unnerving nonchalance? More importantly, was this video ever actually uploaded or intended for a wider audience? The phrase, "Welcome back to our YouTube channel," strongly suggests an intent to publish, to share this grotesque achievement with the world. If so, where was it meant to go? What would have happened if they had succeeded in putting it online before their capture? The very act of recording themselves after allegedly committing such a heinous crime is a psychological anomaly. It suggests a warped sense of reality, perhaps a desire for notoriety, a need to document their twisted accomplishment, or even a desperate, misguided attempt to control a narrative. This video is a black box, offering only a tantalizing, horrifying glimpse into the alleged mindset of these two young individuals, leaving us to wonder about the full extent of their chilling post-crime bravado. The opaque details of preparation. What tools? Why cleaning supplies? The surveillance footage allegedly capturing Aaron and Sierra purchasing tools, lighter fluid, and cleaning supplies before the murder is damning evidence of premeditation. It paints a picture of a calculated plan, not a crime of passion. But the vagueness of the description leaves critical questions unanswered. Firstly, what specific tools were purchased, and how were they allegedly used in the crime? Was it a knife, a blunt object, or something else entirely? Knowing the specific tools shed light on the brutality of the alleged attack, and whether it was designed to be quick or prolonged. The difference between a general tool and a specific weapon speaks volumes about the alleged intent. Secondly, the inclusion of cleaning supplies is particularly ominous. While their general purpose is obvious, to eliminate evidence, the specific type of supplies could offer clues. Were they heavy-duty chemicals for blood cleanup, or more general, household cleaners? Were they effective? And what was the precise intent behind them? This detail suggests a cold, almost clinical approach to the aftermath of murder, reinforcing the idea that this was not a spontaneous act, but one meticulously planned and executed, with an eye towards concealment. The chilling foresight required to think about cleaning up before the crime even occurs is a profoundly disturbing twist in this already dark tale. The flames of concealment, the arson specifics. After allegedly stabbing Daniel Halseth, couple reportedly set fire to his house. While arson is a common method for destroying evidence, the public records don't delve into the specifics. How exactly was the fire started? Was it a haphazard attempt or a deliberate, controlled blaze, designed to maximize destruction and minimize traceable evidence? Knowing the ignition point, the accelerants used, beyond just lighter fluid, and the spread pattern could provide critical insights into the alleged efficiency and intent behind the arson. Was it simply to destroy evidence, or was there an element of rage or finality in burning down the victim's home? The act of burning down a residence, a place of personal history and memories, speaks to a complete lack of regard for the victim and their past. It adds a layer of absolute annihilation to the crime, leaving behind not just a body, but a void. Where a life once thrived, it's a scorched earth policy, making the path to truth even more challenging for investigators. The murky timeline of flight and capture. How were they found? The broad strokes of Aaron and Sierra's flight and capture are known. They fled to Utah and were eventually apprehended. However, the exact chronological details remain frustratingly vague. What was the precise date in April when the murder allegedly occurred? Knowing this exact date would provide a firmer anchor for the entire timeline. Furthermore, what was the specific time frame between the murder, the arson, the filming of the video, and their escape? Was it immediate? Were there hours or days of deliberation and action in between these pivotal moments? And perhaps most intriguing, how exactly were they found and apprehended in Utah? Was it a tip-off? Did they make a mistake in their escape? Were they tracked through their digital footprint, perhaps even by the very video they allegedly recorded? The lack of detail here leaves us wondering about the specific sequence of events that led to their downfall, and the crucial moments that brought their alleged crime spree to an end. These unanswered questions aren't just minor footnotes. They are the unsettling currents that run beneath the surface of this already dark story. They demand deeper exploration, prompting us to peer into the shadows and contemplate the full, terrifying scope of the events surrounding Daniel Halseth's tragic death. What will these hidden truths reveal about the minds capable of such alleged acts? A glimpse behind the veil. Analyzing the unfathomable, the case of Daniel Halseth presents us with a deeply unsettling paradox. On one hand, we have the stark, chilling facts, the alleged premeditation, the brutal act, the calculated arson, and the utterly bizarre self-recorded video. Yet, on the other, we are left staring into a profound void, the absence of a clear, publicly articulated motive. This isn't just a missing piece of information. It's a gaping hole that forces us to confront the most terrifying aspects of human behavior, especially when it emanates from such young individuals. When a why is missing from a crime of this magnitude, it challenges our fundamental need for understanding. We instinctively search for a logical thread: revenge, greed, passion, self-defense, to rationalize the unthinkable. But here, that thread is severed. This lack of clear motivation leaves us contemplating a spectrum of disturbing possibilities. A breakdown of empathy or moral compass. Could it be that Aaron and Sierra possessed a profound lack of empathy, a detachment from the severity of their alleged actions? The casual tone in the video, the alleged deliberate planning, all hint at a chilling disconnect from the value of human life. This isn't just teenage rebellion. It's a potential indication of a deeply disturbed psychological state, the influence of peer dynamics. While we must be careful not to speculate wildly, the fact that this was a crime allegedly committed by a young couple, a daughter and her boyfriend, raises questions about the dynamics of their relationship. Was there a dominant force? Did one person influence the other, pushing them toward a darker path? Teenage relationships, while often intense, can also be volatile and, in extreme cases, toxic, leading to destructive shared fantasies or realities, undiagnosed psychological issues, without specific information about their mental health history or evaluations. We can only ponder if underlying psychological issues played a role. Behaviors like meticulous planning, the detachment during the crime, and the bizarre act of recording themselves can sometimes be symptomatic of deeper psychological complexities. It's crucial to remember this is not a diagnosis, but an open question for such an unusual case: unresolved family conflict. Despite the lack of detail, it's natural to wonder if there were deeply rooted, unresolved conflicts within the Halseth family dynamic that escalated to an extreme. Could a history of discord, perceived grievances, or unaddressed issues have festered into such a destructive outcome? The complexities of family relationships, especially with teenagers, can be a fertile ground for resentment if not properly navigated. Beyond the individual psychologies, this case also forces us to consider the broader social context. The alleged act of recording a YouTube confession introduces a chilling, modern dimension to true crime. It raises questions about the impact of the digital age on perception. Does the pervasive nature of social media, where lives are often curated and even dramatic events can be turned into content, contribute to a warped sense of reality? The casual reference to a YouTube channel after such a horrific act suggests a blurring of lines between reality and a staged performance, a disquieting possibility in our increasingly digital world, the search for notoriety. For some, the allure of online notoriety, even through infamous acts, can be a powerful motivator. Could the act of filming have been a twisted attempt to gain a perverse form of fame or attention, regardless of the horrific cost? The limitations of public information. It's important to acknowledge that our understanding is shaped by publicly available information, which often focuses on the legal proceedings rather than deep dives into personal histories or psychological profiles. This inherent limitation means much of the why remains elusive to the public eye. The actions alleged in this case challenge our assumptions about adolescence, about family bonds, and about the very nature of evil. It's a stark reminder that sometimes the most profound darkness can emerge from unexpected places, leaving behind not just victims, but a chilling trail of unanswered questions that continue to haunt us. The lingering questions, seeking justice, finding answers. The tragic death of Daniel Halseth, allegedly at the hands of his own daughter and her boyfriend, serves as a profoundly unsettling narrative. It's a story that ripples with the echoes of lost potential, shattered innocence, and the chilling complexities of the human mind. As the legal proceedings unfold, the primary focus remains, as it always should, on securing justice for Daniel. His life was cut short, his future stolen, and his memory deserves the full weight of accountability. But beyond the courtroom, this case leaves us with a lingering series of profound questions, not just about the specific acts, but about the deeper currents that can lead to such devastation. What are the unseen battles raging within young minds? This case forces us to reflect on the often hidden struggles of teenagers. Are we, as a society, adequately attuned to the warning signs of emotional distress, psychological instability, or dangerous influences in adolescent relationships? What responsibility do we bear in fostering environments where such darkness can fester and potentially erupt? How do we make sense of a crime without a clear motive? The absence of a discernible why for Daniel's murder is perhaps the most disquieting element. It challenges our comfort in understanding human behavior and forces us to confront the unsettling possibility of acts committed with a chilling, almost incomprehensible detachment. Does true justice demand an understanding of motive, or simply accountability for the act? What is the true impact of the digital age on our youth and on crime itself? The alleged YouTube confession is a stark modern twist. It begs the question, how does the pervasive culture of content creation, performance, and online identity influence behavior, even at its most extreme? Does it desensitize, or does it offer a perverse platform for showcasing the darkest impulses? Daniel Halseth's story is a harrowing reminder that even within the supposed safety of home and family, unimaginable tragedy can strike. For Daniel, we hope that the legal process will bring clarity and ultimately the justice he deserves. For the rest of us, his case stands as a somber warning, urging us to look closer, listen more carefully, and perhaps understand more deeply the complex, often hidden, landscapes of human emotion and intent. What are your thoughts on the unsettling questions left by this case? Share your perspectives respectfully in the comments below.